Hey all, and welcome to our special Throwback Thursday edition of Gifted Monkey TV. As always, Throwback Thursday is when we here at Gifted Monkey TV take a look on the first Thursday of every month at a vintage collectible that would look great in your collection. When we come back, we're going to take a look at a throwback of a 13-inch action figure from the guys over at DC Direct, when they used to be DC Direct. An Archer that was in the Justice League and is taking aim to be top-notch in your superhero figure collection.
Respect the monkey!
Here we go, guys. Keeping with the promise of the classic, vintage, Throwback Thursday awesomeness, here we are. The 13-inch DC Direct Green Arrow Oliver Queen action figure. This is so cool. Some of you who don't know, DC Direct used to be DC Collectibles used to be DC Direct back in the mid-90s to the mid-2000s. They changed their name around mid-2000s to DC Collectibles. But back when they started in the game of the mid-90s, they did action figures, and they did some 13-inch action figures back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they did a lot of the Justice League, Superman, Batman, various iterations of those guys, Green Lantern, Aquaman, you name it, Black Widow, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, Joker. They did a lot of those. But they also did Green Arrow, based on the Oliver Queen comic book of Green Arrow in the DC Comics. So let's take a look at this box first of all. Now this box is full of vibrancy. Back in about the mid to late 90s to early 2000s, remember that's before Hot Toys and Interbay and all those really great, fantastic, fully detailed and articulate 1/6 scale 12-inch action figures were even in concept yet. They hadn't got up and running yet. So this being an action figure at 12 and 13 inches was just really a nice coup and a newness that nobody had ever really seen before in that era. They say 1/6 scale, but it's actually all their DC Direct action figures were 13 inches. A nice cover. You see the actual figure on there. It says Green Arrow. It says 1/6 scale deluxe collector figure. Choking has a DC Direct. On the side it says Green Arrow, 1/6 scale action figure. On the back it has the figure without the mask, and it shows you a little, you guys can pause it and read that. Goes down to a little bit of, tells you what is on there about the history of Green Arrow. On the side it says Green Arrow again, and on the top it just has Green Arrow. You open it up. You get to see Green Arrow in all his glory, and his array of arrows sitting right there in that plastic protection. Nice. Let's take a look at the accessories that this Green Arrow came with. This Green Arrow came with some nifty accessories. I mean, you got to remember, this is back in, what, 1998, 2000, 2002, in that era. And these are like, wow, these are almost like a Hot Toys DX with all the accessories they gave you. They gave you, look at this right here, first of all. They gave you an array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 arrows, and the punching arrow, the famous punching arrow, and all these explosive arrows, screwed arrow with a screw on the end of it, the burrowing for a shot. That is fantastic. And if that weren't enough, they give you literally 20 arrows, loose arrows, with different heads on them to put in his quiver. That's amazing. That is amazing. And a nice, that's sturdy plastic. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice, that is. They gave you 20 of these on top of the 9 or 10 that they gave you in the plastic of the specialty arrows. That's really fantastic. Now I'm trying to put those back in. Give me 2 seconds as I try to put those back in the quiver. Also, they give you a hard container quiver for Green Arrow. Look at those heads on those, really nice, particular. This is all different heads, different style heads on those. And they give you a nice metal, hard plastic box-like quiver with a nice harness, nice strap, waist harness that goes on, and back harness goes on there. They gave you these, look at this, man. They gave you articulate fingers. They gave you a fist that comes stock on the figure that was solid, but they gave you these other pair of hands that actually bend. You can do what you want with them. It's very nice. Very nice for an archer. That's really fantastic. Even Hot Toys doesn't do stuff like that with their archer figures. Really nice. See the archer pose right there? And it's just a matter of the fingers being bent in that pose. And they gave you his arrow, which has a nice string on it. This arrow, this bow actually collapses. It bends over to the shape and slides right into the back of here. But I broke this arrow. I actually owned this toy since it came out, new, pristine in the box back in 1998 or 2001, whenever I got it, when they first came out. And it was on display in my toy room, and it fell down once many years ago, and it broke. I never glued it back because I still wanted to have that collapsibility feature, but it's very tender. See, there it is breaking right there. So, but it does collapse and bend over. That's nice, and they've used a string on the bow, which moves very tight, nice. And it came with a stand that said Green Arrow on it, which I don't have either through the course of the years. Nice regular adjustable stand that looks similar to any other DC Direct 13-inch figure stands, only it said Green Arrow, but the construct was the same. Let's take a look at the articulation on the DC Direct figures. Didn't have super articulation like we've become accustomed to now with Hot Toys and Interbay and all those type of 12-inch figures, even with the Hasbro figures, but they did have some nice articulation back in the day. His head didn't move up or down, but it did give you a full rotation, 360 rotation. The arms went up to about this much. That was pretty good for back in the day. Look at that. And may I say, without any side joint disrupting the symmetry of his deltoid. That's pretty nice how they did that. See, nowadays there's a side joint that usually runs down into the deltoid, so it could go up like that. But that day they didn't do it. They didn't do it with this. Nice swivel on the arms. This is all hard plastic, by the way. Hard plastic. Clean, straight out a Caucasian paint job. There was nothing, no washings or anything in like that. You get swivel in the bicep, top cut of the bicep. A regular elbow bend. Came up pretty high though for a regular elbow bend, didn't it? Stopped only by his bicep. Went back straight down about that much. There was no forearm swivel. There was a full rotation of the hands, which are removable by just pulling out. These are the fists that came stock with the figure. They are not articulate. They stay in that hard rubber fist pose like that. Waist. They're got a slight ab crunch on him. Goes down about this much. Comes up about that much. Available for a full 360, restricted only by the fabric of his costume. Kicks about that high, kicks back about that much, stops right by the butt cheek and his upper thigh, stops right there in the cut. There you go, bends down, almost a double joint, but not quite right in there. There is a rotation in the boot, rotation in the calf area, very nice. Down swivel about that, up about that much, full rotational pivot on the ankle. Oh, again, restricted by the material of the boot. This boot isn't hard plastic. It's actually tight material that they'd sewn around the figure's actual leg and shin and thigh. It really is very cool. It comes down to a hard plastic sculpted boot covers, but that's a nice blend in. Look at that. You couldn't tell. Very sweet. Some nice innovative stuff they did there at DC Direct back in the late 90s. And look at that. They even have the zipper on the boots. I never understood why they did that. For one, why are you going to undress this figure? And for two, if this was actual scale size to the figure, in reality, nobody would have big tassels hanging on his zipper. They'd be much smaller if it was actually made for his hands to fit and move. So that nice sculpting on the Oliver Queen face. Look at that. And you can put his domino mask on. Another good thing that DC Direct did, they were able to put the snap onto their mask on Hal Jordan Green Lantern and on Green Arrow and on their Nightwing. It slaps right into their eye sockets over their nose, and it fits tight. It doesn't fall out, won't fall out. You can move them, jump them, bang them. It does not fall out. That's just amazing. A nice little innovation, which I haven't seen on any other figures since that DC Direct 13-inch action figures. Very nice. Nice sculpting on the hair, on the head, as you see, Oliver Queen. Very true to the comic book. Very nicely, truly done to the comic book. Let's take an overall look at this figure. Well, I hope you enjoyed our look at our 13-inch DC Direct Green Arrow action figure. This thing is vintage, but so cool. And I just want to add in two things that I forgot to mention during the course of our review. One is these faux leather forearm guards that he has. There's nice covers. They're really nice and they fit. And when you take the hand off, they will slide off, and you can take them off if you don't want them on there because they're actual material like a faux leather stitched in there. Very nice, and they can come off with the hands changed. And that I made a mistake. Earlier I said that they didn't have that rotation joint in the deltoids. They do, but it's so subtle, and it's actually covered by the lapel over on the top of his uniform that you don't see it when you raise his elbow. So that is there, but it's very faint. It's very nicely done. For this figure to come out in the mid-1990s, early 2000s, remember again, before Hot Toys, before Interbay, before any of those great detailed, fantastic 12-inch and bigger figures that we get now, before NECA and all those guys were even around, DC Direct was the first one to come out with superhero property-based 13-inch cloth-dressed action figures that are articulate. These are really nice. Look at this badass pose this guy is in right now with the boxing glove arrow getting just pulled out of his quiver, getting ready to fire it. And he has no stand, even though he came with a stand, which I lost, but he has no stand and he's standing greatly. This is a really nice figure. He ran $89 to $95 with tax and everything back in the late 2000s, the late 1990s to early 2000s when I originally got him. I got him when he just came out. You find him on eBay? Yeah, you can. I don't know how much he runs on eBay. I don't know if he's a collector's classic or whatever. I just know he's a very cool figure. Should you get him? I tell you, for you guys who collect all things action figures, especially JLA and DC related figures, this is a great Oliver Queen Green Arrow. They did a great face sculpt on this guy. He really looks great. And with the nice stitching of the cloth, the great paint apps on him, the great sculpting on the hair, the magnificent amount of arrows and the cool accessories they give you, excuse me, this is really a fantastic figure. I think you should get them. And also, you guys who collect Green Arrow stuff and you guys that collect superhero stuff and vintage things, this is a great action figure to get. And you could probably find them at a good price on eBay and on Amazon. What do you guys think? Do you like the way DC Direct had these 13-inch action figures back in the day? Do you like the way they look? Do you own one? Would you own one? Are you now considering getting one when you see how badass these guys look? Write in and let me know down below, because you know I always get back to you guys and I love hearing from you guys. Also check us out on Pinterest and on Facebook, because we got stuff there that you don't find necessarily on the YouTube channel. And if you like what you saw today and you like our shows, please hit the like button and subscribe. We are on our way to over 2,000 subscribers and counting and building each day. Thanks to you guys. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for joining us. And remember, collecting action figures and toys, even a vintage Throwback Thursday 13-inch Green Arrow Oliver Queen superhero action figure from the guys at DC Direct. Can be as fun as a barrel of monkeys. But respect the monkey. Play nice. Take care, guys.